Hey guys, a quick note, if this is the first video you're watching, this is part 3 of a conversation I had with my wife about travelling to the Atlantis on the Palm with my 2 boys, Riley and Reggie, who are 5 and 8. This is video 3 of 3, so I would say pause this, head over to the channel and go and watch videos 1 and 2. In video 1, we talk about getting from the airport to the hotel, checking in, checking out the room and the dining experience inside the Atlantis. In the second video, we talk about everything we did inside the resort. And in this video, we talk about everything we did outside the resort, as well as some top tips, things you need to know, and our overall impression of Dubai. And if there's something we didn't cover, but you feel like we might have an answer for you, chuck it in the comments. Myself or Sarah will be more than happy to help you with your travels if you're thinking about going to Dubai. Let's get into the video. What are you doing?
Clapping. So some of the activities that we did at the hotel, we want to cover those off with you guys. So we went to the Dubai Mall. We got an Uber there from the hotel.
Yep.
First impressions, you arrive and it is just huge. Like you get
obscene.
It's massive, and there's so many different entrances. Obviously, your Uber driver will just drop you wherever.
They'll probably just take you to the same spot that we got. We went there 3 times, 4 times.
Yeah, and we always went in like the designer end, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I think that's just generally like near the main entrance.
Okay.
So. Got dropped off there. I can't remember how much was an Uber, but the Uber rates aren't offensive, guys. They're probably what you'd expect if you're jumping around.
It's about
Birmingham.
20 minutes.
Yeah, jumping
20
around
minutes.
London or Birmingham. It just felt like similar rates, to be honest with you. Even though on the Uber app there is a helicopter. So after I've been in the helicopter and the Falcon Tours thing, I noticed that you can order a helicopter Uber somewhere. We didn't do that, obviously.
So in the mall there are...
Is it mall or mall?
Mall. Well,
I can't wait to like make something
in
out of that. What you just did.
In the shopping centre.
Yeah. Well, you can say mall. I like it the way you say it.
No, because if you're going to judge me...
I'm not, judge free zone.
Okay, good. So there's like a huge aquarium in there, isn't there? Like a huge tank.
Yeah. Opposite Candelicious, which is the kids' favourite store.
Ice rink.
Like just to process that for a second. Like we're in the shopping mall centre, and take your pick. And like we're walking down one area, and I honestly think you'd have to be there all day to cover all the shops.
Oh yeah.
And there's all the high end stuff, but there is like a huge range of shops.
Yeah, like you would think that you were in a shopping centre in London. That blew my mind. It's so many shops, like All Saints. You've got Pull and Bear, M&S, WH Smith. There's Boots, like all those sort of shops. Then
we walked down this thing, and there was just an ice rink inside, which again, I guess it just shares with you the scale of what this place is. It was ridiculous.
But you've got like your mid-range shops, like I've mentioned, but then obviously you've got your high-end design. You've got everything that you'd want. Mm-hmm. You just need a lot of time to walk around.
Yeah.
And then restaurants-wise, you've got a lot of like there was like the Cheesecake Factory. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, just some iconic
Big
stuff.
Bang.
You've kind of got
and you've got Waggers,
fast food court, like proper fast food court. Then you've got chains that you'll know. And we didn't eat out there. I think we had a Nando's out, but we didn't go and have like a meal, like a family meal. We just shopped and then ate a little bit. So we didn't try any of the other restaurants there, did we?
No, we didn't. But yeah, you've got like Nando's, Starbucks everywhere, and then as you go out, it's near that area, isn't it? You go outside to watch the fountain show, and that's on like every 30 minutes. And that fountain show, you've got to go to the mall just to watch the fountain show. It's just like a must do thing. It only lasts for like about 5 minutes, but it looked absolutely amazing at night, didn't it?
Audio was great, visuals were great.
And then you've got the view of the Burj.
Yep. So the mall centre is at the base of the Burj Khalifa, and I actually think, regardless of what photos you've seen of that building, as it stands, I believe it's still the highest, tallest. It's pretty big. Say it twice. It's the highest, tallest building in the world. But fun fact, they're actually building something that's going to be taller in another part of Dubai. And while I'm on that fun fact, there's the wheel, which we'll cover off in the next video. So we've got some content around that. The Ain, which is the big wheel. I think they're actually building a bigger wheel.
London Eye on steroids.
London Eye on steroids is what came up as we were talking about it. Didn't mean to kick you. So if you wanted to go to the Burj Khalifa, it's there. We actually didn't do that. I'm not entirely sure why we didn't do that. I don't think we had an
just
interest.
Like timings. Like I think it's because you wanted to go at night. I think is probably you wanted to see the
Yeah, but
sunset.
even when we were there recently,
Yeah,
it's just us. We didn't go.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think here's what it was. Once you've been up in a helicopter, you don't need to go up in the Khalifa. You've seen Dubai.
oh, that's
What?
I don't agree with that.
Moving on from the mall centre, desert trip. It wasn't called a desert trip, but it's what it was.
No, so it was called the Premium Red Dunes Camel Safari and Barbecue at Al Khaimah Camp. So I found this on TripAdvisor before we went, and it's got some. Well, I wrote it down. It's got 5-star rating with over 10,000 reviews, and that package was £208 for all of us. And you get picked up from your hotel. We got picked up at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, how crazy is this? We got picked up with a couple at the hotel, and we got chatting with a couple, and turns out, so where we're based and my office is based is in a place called Tamworth. These guys were from England up north, but they worked in Tamworth, and they were looking to buy in a place called Ashby, which is where we used to live.
Yeah,
crazy
2
small
minutes
world.
away from
Yeah.
us. Crazy.
Cool guys as well.
Yeah, so you get picked up in your Land Cruiser. We were with that other couple. You stop en route, which is, I guess, traditional Dubai at the campsite.
Oh yeah, this was the one bit of that trip I didn't like, because it felt very organised and a little bit pitchy. So like he took us somewhere where you can do some quad biking, and then he took us to a shop, and he wasn't being a salesman, but he's clearly got a relationship with these people that work in this area, and we ended up buying some head garb and bits like that. And don't get me wrong, it was cool.
Yeah.
I guess it just felt like a little bit. We stopped somewhere to get. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
felt
It
a little
didn't
bit.
feel, and the make sure you go to the toilet before you leave the hotel, and don't drink much on your journey, because did you go to? Oh, the boys are back.
Sorry about that, guys. You will see like a quick break in the video because the boys have just come back from tobogganing. We talk about the stop. You talk about the toilets actually. What was your experience with the toilets like then? Terrible.
It was a hole. Just a hole.
Oh,
A
so
hole in-
was mine, but it didn't bother me.
Yeah, well, you're a man.
It's like a game for a man.
Yeah, yeah. If you've got to go, you've got to go. But it was clean enough. But I was not expecting to not have a toilet.
Cool. So then from there we went into the duning bit, didn't we?
Yeah. So the dune bashing. If you get travel sick, if you've got a bad back, pregnant, don't book it.
Also, very important top tip here. If you think there's if you're going with someone else, put them in the back. The back is where you get the most travel sickness feeling. I felt
it
fine.
was super, super cool. How he handles that vehicle is ridiculous, because you think it's gonna topple over, I guess.
Yeah,
don't
you do. And then when you're passing the odd car that is.
Well, it's not the odd car. There's all other tours at the same time, and they're like this, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because
it was so fun.
Not to jump too far ahead, but they all converge on the evening event together. So you see all these Land Rovers and these cars.
Yeah, well, there's different base camps, isn't there, for different tours. We were like exclusive with the people that was with our tour.
Yeah, so that was cool. And then halfway they stop, and they call it sand duning, is it?
Yeah, so you do the sunset photos first. Our tour guide was taking photos of all 4 of us, which was really nice. You got the sunset in the background, and then it's called sandboarding.
Sandboarding, and to be honest, guys, that was a little bit of a letdown for me. Like, it wasn't.
You expected it to be.
I expected it to be a little bit more time on it, a little bit faster, a little bit steeper. But I guess it is what it is. It's a board on the sand. You go down it, you spend 10-15 minutes doing it, then you jump back in the motor, and then you carry on.
Yeah. And then when you arrive at the base camp, you go on the camel rides.
Which was cool. Went on the camel ride with the boys, and then you go out, come back, and then it is literally like a camp, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you walk in.
It's all set out. You get you shown
You got like a
where
table,
to sit.
like a table and bean bags.
You're on like bean bags.
and there's a centre stage, and then you have some welcome drinks, and then you have like a buffet. It's not a buffet.
So it's
kind of like buffet food, but you're in a queue and you just sort of like walk through it. I guess that's the exact definition of a buffet.
Yeah, like a barbecue meal.
Yeah, food was fantastic there. I really enjoyed it. You didn't enjoy it as much, did you? You picked at yours.
Yeah. It was nice. Like I didn't go hungry, but
it was like fatty meats and bits like that.
Which I'm not really into.
Which I loved.
I'm not really into char grilled meat as it is. So
yeah, and then there was like the shows on the stage, which was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah. The flamethrower guy.
Yeah, the guy.
He was so cool. He was really, really cool. So then there was like you could get like.
It was only £208.
You could get like henna tattoos. You could go on a sheet. You could smoke a sheesh.
It was cool.
All the facilities, like the toilets and stuff, were pristine there. I think I was actually getting confused. I don't know if the toilets were clean at the base camp, at the stop. They were pristine at this camp.
Yeah, you can see why they've got. And I'll try and fire the TripAdvisor page up at some point. I might have already done it, but ridiculous amount of views. It's well worth the money.
Yeah, because it's a good hour drive from the hotel.
Hour drive. That's a good point. It's like an hour drive from the hotel.
Yeah.
And you're doing activities for 3 hours.
Yeah,
we were out for 5-6 hours that day.
We got about late, didn't we?
Yeah, but it was well worth it. Even to the point that like play with the tyre pressures on the sand to be able to control the car. So like taking air out and putting air in. It's pretty cool. It's definitely worth doing. So moving on to the last activity we did was Ferrari World. We booked an Uber. From the hotel, and that was about an hour's trip because Ferrari World is up at Yas Island, which is in Abu Dhabi. It's for those of you that are interested in F1, it's where all that happens.
We pre-booked the tickets for this before we left the UK, didn't we?
Did we?
Yes, you booked them.
Oh, I did.
Yes.
Cool.
One of the only things you booked, but
I did something right. So booked those. And to be honest, getting there, so we got dropped off, and we went through like a shopping centre, and then came across to actually Ferrari World. I kind of just expected it to be absolutely rammed, I guess, as you do when
you go into a theme park. You expect, a tourist attraction like that to be heaving, expecting to queue for rides. We walked onto absolutely everything. You were probably lucky if there was, 30 other people in there.
Yeah. I think at no point we would look around and see more than 30 people at any point. I think that's fair. So there's like kids rides.
So
which
it was great for us.
Yeah, it was cool. So there's kids rides, there's adult rides, and actually to the point we wanted to go on a ride together. And I guess it just shows how comfortable we got out there. So the lady that ran that gate to let people on the ride, we just left our kids with her. We're like, we want to go on this. And she was like, that's fine. And that was, I think it was the fastest ride. Is it the fastest ride in the world? Yeah. It's something like that.
Oh my God, it was like, obviously I love roller coasters, I did mention earlier. It was amazing. It was so fast. So
let's wear goggles.
And so you had to wear goggles, and obviously it was not obvious, but at Ferrari World's all indoors, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's all indoors, obviously because of it's all air-conned. So this ride, you start off inside, but it actually takes you outside. So the heat, literally hits you and takes your breath. It was so fast, absolutely amazing. So if you go with children, leave your kids with the staff and get on the ride. Yeah,
that was cool. And I would say last thing on Ferrari World, it was good value, as well as the photo package there. We mentioned photo package a few times in these videos. Dolphins, extortionate, helicopters, good value. Ferrari World, good value. And what we did is we got them on a USB stick. So kind of give you a wristband with a USB stick.
And then,
that.
Yeah, and then they scan it, don't they?
Yeah, one thing to mention if you are going with kids is there's this I don't know how to explain it. There's like an area.
I've written it down as climbing activities. So
it was.
Yeah, like your harness up. Like clip and climb, but
clip and climb meets Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
For kids, and there's 6 or 7 activities that Riley went on.
Yeah, Reggie wasn't old enough, but there's a soft play in there, so Reggie was opposite in the soft play, which he absolutely loved.
It was perfect, and he had staff going around with him and having fun with him and getting him to, because one of them's the leap of faith where he has to climb up a pole and jump and they weren't just they didn't just do what they needed to do. They wanted the kid to have an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And it's just those little details as a parent that sort of go, This is an amazing trip.
It was crazy because normally like those sort of activities, even when you go anywhere that you've paid an admission to get in, they're normally like extra, aren't they?
Yeah,
so,
all included.
And it's all included. So yeah, that was a great time.
One thing I did enjoy, so they've got like a go-kart thing. So I went on the go-kart as well. I've got like an indoor kart track, which is pretty fun to be honest. So I went on that.
And we had a nice pizza in there as well, didn't we?
Pizza was beautiful.
It was something called like, it had Mama in the name, didn't it?
It had Mama.
It definitely.
But it wasn't just the Mama thing. Like it was in like the whole environment was made to feel like an authentic Italian.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, that was a good pizza, wasn't it?
So that's the activity we did outside the hotel, and I guess just to wrap up, the only other thing I want to mention before we end the video is really we've got a nice list here. Good stuff to know. Conversion rate, we've shared that a few times. Check it before you go out in case it's significantly changed. I want to share the alcohol sort of like situation out there because it really confused me because I understood that it was like a dry state, a dry emirate, and I was like, well, how come some places can serve alcohol and some places can't? The way it basically works out there is like hotels can have licenses to serve alcohol, but it's extortionately expensive. So I was paying something like £10 to £12 for a drink. Some of the time it was a draft, so I'd get a pint. Some of the times it was a bottle. And I remember actually ordering a bottle to the room one night. So they had the bathtub, as I said, the doors are open, so it was like a cool environment. Thought I'm going to treat myself to a beer. Got myself a beer, put it next to the bathtub, knocked it over, and literally, I swear, a tear shed from my eye because it was like a £12 bottle.
I told him to lick the floor. Lick it up off the floor.
£12 bottle of beer. So you can drink over there in the hotel.
We had the pina colada when the boys were in the kids club that was like in a pineapple. That wasn't that expensive.
No, that's a good point.
I guess for a cocktail.
No, that's a really good point. You are, from a cocktail perspective, you're paying London prices for a cocktail.
Yeah.
Or city centre
premium
city centre prices, so wherever you're around the world, work that out. So we were like 10, 12, 14 quid for a cocktail, which is the high end, I know, but normally if you're paying 12 quid for a cocktail, you still should only be paying £4 for a beer or £5 for a beer maximum.
Yeah.
It's like cocktails are nearly the same price as beers. But a top tip actually, in Seafire, if you do go, they'll give you a wine menu. And by the way, it's the first time I've ever seen like an £8,000 bottle of wine on a menu.
Crazy.
It's ridiculous. But they do some bottles of wine that are actually pretty good value. So you're paying like 65 quid for a bottle of wine. And when you consider like a bottle of beer is like 12 quid, that felt good value at that point in time. So there is some nice wine there as well. Anything else you want to cover off that you think is like just good to know before we wrap up?
Everyone that I've personally spoke to, like some of my friends, they've heard so many like misconceptions of the culture there and what it's like and the people and the environment, and like honestly it's nothing like I guess what's in the media and what you hear and what people think about it. It's just the people are just so respectful and so nice. Like the men aren't like, I've been to Egypt, like the men are so like leery and make you feel so uncomfortable. Like when I went to, I think it was Prague, I did not feel safe at all. I thought I was going to get attacked. It's just, I can't explain it. It's just such a safe country. You feel safe. Men are respectful. Like to the point where they'll pour your drink before pouring yours. And
the time he forgot, he poured my drink and he apologised. One thing to really point out there is we're not just talking about the people with inside like the service industry, like the hotel. Yeah, as in like, oh well, it's like that because you've paid that amount of money to stay there. We're talking about everywhere. And I guess just to share with you a story from the Dubai Mall is we're looking for a taxi and we're struggling to get a taxi because there's 4 of us, and with the COVID restrictions and all that good stuff, we struggle to get an Uber. And actually we walked to one end. So if you do go and you want to get an Uber back, just check the app because it's quite a long walk. So there's only one Uber pickup spot. Anyway, so we walk out the front door and a guy who was like stood in the corner and this like against the wall. He was in a suit and stuff, wasn't he? In a suit, yeah. But he was like leaning against the wall. He was like, taxi, and I was like, yep. And he was like, follow me. And then he took us into a lift inside the mall, into the lift, down like 4 levels. And I was to the car park. I was like, hey dude, I want to see a license before my family gets in the car. Let me see something and he smiled at me and was like, "We're in Dubai. This is the safest city in the world." He said, "I understand why you need to ask," and he showed me all the information. And he was like, "You're in the safest city in the world." And he drove us back. Wonderful guy, great conversation. And I guess it was from that point that I was like, the stuff that I've heard, the penny sort of dropped at that point.
Yeah.
And I guess from our side, just to share like how much we enjoyed that trip, and we'll do another video because I think we learned a lot about Dubai the second time. Now it's second week of March. We went out in February for a delayed anniversary for me and Sarah, but just the two of us. So we went out to different parts of Dubai, went to Marina and different places, then came back to the Atlantis, but just the two of us. So we had a bit of a different experience. And the reason we started making this content is we are going to relocate out there. We're sort of like working towards that right now and learning about it. But that's the impression it made on us. So we've gone back out there to sense check whether it was like, actually, was it just a good family holiday? Or is this actually something that is like a culture and an environment and the weather and the people that we want to be around more often? Yeah. So we really went to kick the tires in February, and we've come back with the same feeling, really. So I'm going to be making a bunch of content for the channel to sort of, if you are in that mindset, it won't be videos like this. It'll be like spreadsheets and finance and all that stuff. But it's made a huge it's made a huge impression on us. And if you are watching this video, we'll probably end up splitting this into a few different videos because it's quite long. If you are watching it and you have a question about something very specific that we haven't covered off, just chuck it in the comments on any of the videos.
Happy to help.
And we'll jump in.
The only thing the last thing that I want to say is like it's been the most expensive holiday that we've ever been on.
Yeah.
And we would from the experience we had, we would pay it again to have that same
100%
holiday. So like there's no regret. So if you're thinking it's so expensive, is it worth it? 100%. It is worth it. And
we also are aware that like this holiday might not be within everyone's means, but for us, we saved for it because we wanted to have an experience. We're saving for it to have these experiences. Also,
obviously, we hadn't been away during COVID, so we'd saved money on going on other holidays because of COVID. We couldn't travel, so we were like, we deserve a holiday.
But it set the bar as well. Like for me, you can go on holidays and we can go away to Spain and do something short and just get some sun. But this was what we classed as an experience, and it is. It set the bar so high for us moving forward. And probably if we enjoy doing this sort of content, everywhere we travel, we'll probably share with you guys. But I would say if Dubai's of interest, if you have any questions, put in the comments below. Hit subscribe if you want to see more of the content where me and Sarah drop our video about what we did in February. It was just the two of us. There were some interesting nights out in Dubai. We saw like the adult side of Dubai.
Sounds a bit seedy.
It does sound a bit seedy when I say it like that. Anything else from you before we wrap up?
No.
Alright, see you guys.
All good. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, just before we wrap up, I want to say thanks for taking the time to watch this video and also let you know what's coming to the channel moving forward. So myself and Sarah are thinking about relocating out to Dubai. So we went out early this year to go just the two of us without the kids to see what it was really like, getting a bit closer to the town and the city. So we spent half our time in Marina. We then did go back and spend another half of the hotel at the Atlantis to see what that was like without the kids. And we're going to do a full review of that soon on the channel. So if that's of interest, hit subscribe. That video should be dropping in the next couple of weeks. Also, later this year, because we truly want to know what it's like to be there all year round, and we know the weather can be very testing for people. So we're going out there at basically the hottest time of year. We're going out in July for 4 weeks. Myself, Sarah, and the two boys. We're getting out there in an Airbnb, basically around the area that we would be living if we relocated. We want to get a sense of what it's like to live there. So during that time, we're going to create a lot of content. If there's anything specific you think would be interesting for us to go and find out or explore, put in the comments. Or if you're thinking about going out there and you want us to go and see something and sort of report back, happy to do that too, because we're going to be exploring straight for 4 weeks basically. And also when it comes to relocating, if that is of interest to you, I am the person that likes to work out the finances and all the details, so I'll be working out everything from the visas, the healthcare, the education, everything that you'll need to know, and I'll be putting that into a Google Drive and a doc, so if you are thinking about it, I've probably got a document to help you save your time and your research. Anyway, don't forget to hit subscribe. If there's anything we can help you with, let us know. Stay well, speak to you soon.